What's up everybody, DoolieRay here, and today I want to talk about the discussion the community is currently having about the Act 6 announcements. Usually I try to stay out of these kinds of conversations because of the drama and the arguments and confrontation, the negativity that it brings with it. I try to stay out of that. I don't enjoy that. I prefer to have fun. This is a game that I play for fun. However, I do want to just put my thoughts out there as far as this situation is concerned. What's happening here is Act 6 is going to be released next week. It's new content, and it's highly likely that it's going to be pretty ridiculously difficult. Also, they've banned 4 stars. The community seems to be pretty upset by this, and I can see why. For those of you, though, that have been respectful to Kabam and offered criticism without insulting them or being rude or just being generally toxic, I very much appreciate that. I sometimes see that there's this mob mentality that people get into where they get really wrapped up into their emotions and they just let themselves get angry to the point where they're not really thinking clearly. I've learned that if you're able to take a step back and calm down the emotional side of your thinking, you can be more rational when it comes to discussing topics like these, and that's what really makes change. It's not the angry yelling, it's not any of that, it's the honest discussion that people have. I've had a few people hassle me about standing up, like boycotting Kabam, insulting them, any of those types of things. I'm not interested in any of that. When I first heard about the 4-star ban, I was initially confused, and then I accepted it. I saw it as a part of the challenge. I'm not saying that I think it's a good idea or that I even agree with it. I view it as a part of the design of the game. So if the community pushback does end up getting Kabam to drop the ban, I'll be fine. If they don't drop the ban though, I'll build up my roster and I'll go at it when I can. When I was newer to the game and had just completed Act 3, I was excited to be able to go through the newer content in the game, which was Act 4 at the time. So I took in my solid team of maxed out 3 stars, and I went at the first quest in the first chapter of Act 4, and I failed. I couldn't even get to the boss. I got beat. It was difficult, and I was frustrated, but I was also determined to build up my roster and become a better player so that I'd be able to do this content. So a while later, a pretty long time actually, I think, but I had a few solid 4 stars that I had ranked up, and I took them into Act 4, and I was able to do it. And it felt good to be able to look back at these difficult fights that I hadn't been able to do before, and see how I had progressed as a player and was able to do them now. I enjoyed that. It felt good. It felt like I had actually done something. So I view this new Act 6 stuff as a challenge from Kabam. They're challenging me. A big argument I've seen against them is that they're doing this purely for the money. They're a company, so it would make sense to think that the only thing that they would want from us is our money. And in terms of them being a company, that is all they want. They want our money. They don't really, there's no reason for them to care about us. They want us to be happy, so that we'll give them more of our money. But in terms of the design side, I've personally met the developers, or some of the developers of this game at Comic-Con last year, and I was able to see the passion that they have for this game, and they genuinely want to make a fun video game for us. So while I can see how people would think that Kabam is only doing this for the money, I can also see how it is also a bit of a challenge from the designers. There is no one holding a gun to my head telling me that I have to spend money on this game. And to be honest, I don't really intend to spend money on completing this new content. If I can't do it, I'll just hold off on completing it. It's permanent content, so it's going to be there forever, so you have time to build up a roster if you need to. But I'm more of an endgame player though, right? I've explored Act 5, Variant, Labyrinth of Legends. I've done pretty much all of the most difficult content that is available in the game currently. And let's be honest, my roster is pretty sick. So what right do I have to say anything about this, since obviously I'm going to have an easier time than other players in this game completing this content, right? Once again, I don't mean to insult anybody, but this content is designed for me. It's designed for players like me who are at the end of the game, who've defeated the difficult content, and this is not designed for somebody who hasn't explored Act 5 or who doesn't have a team of maxed out 5 stars. Really, I'm not trying to be rude here, I swear, but if you really think that because 4 stars are banned, you're not going to be able to do this content, then maybe you shouldn't do it right now, and you should step back and you should build up your roster to a point where you can do it without the 4 stars. I still use 4-star Archangel and Scarlet Witch and Gladiator Hulk because I don't have high-level champions that can really do what they do. So if I find myself in a situation where I would, I'll be wishing that I had one of these characters to use in the quest, I'll either A, have to come up with a new strategy with the champions that I currently have to take out whatever the content may be, or B, I'll just have to wait until I get a champion that can do what I need to get done. And that may take a long time, yeah, but it's permanent content. It's going to be there. And this doesn't make 4 stars obsolete. I'm still going to be using 4 stars in other content when I need them. But for this new content, for Act 6, part of the challenge is that I can't use 4 stars. That's what I see it as. The people that really have a reason to complain are the people that are playing this game at a competitive endgame level. Because in the top alliances, it really does kind of come down to spending. And the threat of being booted from your alliance for not finishing the new content or getting the newest rewards so that you can rank up the newest champions, that's a reason I can see people being annoyed by this new content. It could potentially force players to buy Grandmaster crystals and maybe buy deals that they wouldn't otherwise have at that top level. So I can understand the frustration there. But at the same time, from my point of view, Kabam seems to be in a bit of a no-win situation, because as the game progresses, it's becoming more and more difficult to create challenging content. They have to be more creative with the nodes and the buffs that they make, otherwise they'll just end up adding in fights that have more health and more attack, and you'll end up with these really long fights like Labyrinth of Legends or something along those lines, where it would just take a long time, but it wouldn't actually be that difficult unless they create nodes that degenerate your health, and then it's really not fair because it's making you spend potions on something that you can't avoid with skill. So they need to find a way to challenge players, and I guess this is what they came up with. Is it a great idea? No, I don't really think so. But do I know what else they should have done? No, I don't. I've got nothing. All things considered, what I'm really saying is that I guess I understand the frustration of high-level competitive players, but I also have sympathy for Kabam as they have to try and create this new, fun, challenging content. So before you go screaming at them about being greedy and evil, I really think it would be better if we came together as a community and gave Kabam helpful feedback, constructive criticism, help them come up with new ways to challenge us without insulting them or being rude or telling them that they suck. So I'd really prefer if we could be a bit more positive, a bit more optimistic, help out Kabam instead of just insulting them. I know that's what the general populace community may want, is to just be angry at the man, gotta put down the man, but maybe we should help them out. You know what I mean? Alright, that was a lot, but that's about all I have to say. So if the band sticks, I mean, good luck. Until I see you next, though, hang in there. May the RNG be with you. Peace out.